so much to everyone for tuning into Carol's Daily Sauce. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Go ahead and share the video out. Don't forget to click on the bell. I'd just like to say thank you to all of my subscribers, all of the newbies, all of those that have been here, all of those who have helped me to get to 1K. Thank you. It's a small milestone, but it is a milestone, and I thank you for helping me to get there. So this is a reaction video, and this reaction video is by no means an evil one. It's not one to bash anybody. Once again, it is about Strong Mommy Chrissy, and it seems the more I kind of view her videos and get to know her, I kind of see where she's coming from. Not from the point of how many children she has and none of that, because all my baby making days, all of that and raising children, that's all over. So I just ask that God will continue to bless her in that area. But this last video that she had, she indicated that some people were sending her screenshots, threatening her pretty much via her DMs. Y'all, are we serious? Are we absolutely positively serious? Okay, who has a child where they have not had some sort of accident, whether it be an accident in which the child has fallen and scratched their knee, whether the child was at daycare and something happened? I mean, it's really sad when people take things and feel the need to just run away with it. Stay out that lady's DM doing crazy mess like that. And no, and no, and no, and no. I will continue to say, no, I am not back paddling. I'm not backpedaling. However you want to refer to it, I'm not doing any of that. But just to continue to pick on this young lady because an accident happened is getting a little bit ridiculous. Chrissy starts a video off indicating that she is protecting her children. And one of the reasons that she does not allow her children to be in her lives or in her videos in general excessively is because what happens is she wakes up the next day, and once she wakes up the next day, there's a reaction video. She typically will tell her children, go ahead and go do something, pretty much go make yourself useful while I do this grown mommy stuff. Excuse me, y'all, I'm still dealing with this throat. She went on to say in the video that things happen whether there's adult there or not. And that is so very true. I mean, for people to act as if accidents don't happen is just crazy. They do. I mean, I lived in a house in Virginia. When I lived in Virginia, and my son was, gosh, he was a baby. He was probably 13 months, not a toddler, my baby. And he actually got bit by a spider. Well, I didn't know. And he went to sleep. And the next day he woke up and my son had this big, like, almost like elephantitis. You know, the elephant boy, his head was like that. And I ended up having to rush him to the hospital. But I was accused of child abuse. I was accused of all kinds of things until they actually looked at his eye, in the corner of his eye, and actually seen that under the swelling there was a bug bite. He ended up having to have surgery that young age. But we can't just assume because accidents happen that a parent is being neglectful. That's just not, it's not logical. Accidents do happen. Things happen whether adults are there or not. And I'm not trying to make an excuse for her, but hey, 9 kids, she needs some help, okay? She only got 2 eyes and 2 hands. Why would someone in their right mind DM her and try to threaten her that they were going to call CPS on that woman? Chrissy feels that it was a hateful gesture, a hateful attempt to separate her family, to have the authorities in her family situation. Another question I have is, how many of you who are raising children right now, and I'm not talking about teenagers, I'm talking about children who are very similar to the age of what her children's ages are, where you have yourself, your husband, two-parent home, and you've experienced emergencies with your children, does that make you a bad parent? People need to really, really, really think about the things they're doing. Think about the things they're saying. The problem with YouTube is no one thinks. People just sit in front of the camera and just do vindictive and evil things for no reason. I don't understand it. I personally, for one, do not care to see Chrissy's children in her blogs or her vlogs. I just don't. I don't care to see her children. Although her children, as I have said from day one, they're all gorgeous babies. No reason that I don't want to see them other than they're not old enough. Not one of them, in my opinion, is old enough to say whether or not they want to be on social media. Because of that, I don't think they should be on. To each his own as far as what they want to do with their channel. She said that she's personally tired of all of the reactors reacting or waking up the next day to reactions. Well, I'm a reactor. That's not all I do, but I do react. And so whenever I have a reaction video out and I have one dislike, I always know who has given me that dislike, because it's easier to go ahead and hit the dislike instead of giving me the view time. But from what I can understand, and if you all know anything about this, let me know. I was in, I believe, a live. I can't remember exactly which one it was that I was in, so I don't want to go throwing out any names. But I was in a live a couple of months back, and what actually happened, someone mentioned that if you get a dislike on a video, that whomever gave the dislike has to have watched the entire video in order for it to stick. I don't know. You guys let me know if you know anything about that. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not so crazy that I think everybody is going to like everything that I put out. I would be living in a bubble if I thought that. We have people in this world that just dislike you because they can say the word dislike. So I don't fall into that. I just feel like this. It's the price that you pay to be a YouTube celebrity, Chrissy. It's the price that you pay. You're going to get reactions. You're going to get negative things said. You're going to get DMs. You're going to get emails. You're going to get a lot of hate, because this is the reality. The reality is, and I am not speaking of me, because I would never take 2 minutes of my day to send a threatening, evil message to anybody. I wouldn't do it, because I have a life. I don't understand the people who, even when you put these reaction videos out or videos out, period, and they want to write a long story as to why they dislike your video or why they dislike you. If I dislike it, I just dislike it. I'm not going to explain it to you as to why I dislike it. I'll just do and keep on going about my life. People are crazy. So someone also indicated that she was a neglectful parent. Now, the one thing I can say is this: I do not see her as being a neglectful parent. I don't. I have seen a couple of her children in the videos. As I've said before, I have seen a couple of children in her videos. As I said before, they're always clean. They always look very nice. They're always mannerable. All of them. Even the little one, not the baby, but the very, very little one. I don't know why, but every time I think about them, I always think about Cash, and that it's definitely not him. And it's not Junebug. Blaze, that's his name. Blaze. Blaze is very, very mannerable. He never, whenever he's in the video, he's never hollering and screaming and, acting up. And, the reality is this: when your children don't do it on camera, 99% of the time, that means 99% of the time off the camera, they just don't do it. People are who they are. People are who they are, especially the children. I don't think Chrissy is a neglectful parent, and she states that her children are right outside her door while she's filming. She also stated that she has an open door policy. If something were to happen while she were filming, that her children know that they can knock on that door, or if it's emergent, bust in and let her know, hey mom, this is up. This is what is up. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to drink my coffee, and I'm telling you, this weather is so gloomy outside. It's just as gray and nasty and ugly. But hey, it's the fall, so that's what happens. Chrissy said that, you know how the businesses have those signs, 90 days since the last accident. She said that she needs one in her household. But that Chrissy said that, how in businesses where they have those 90 days, 60 days since the last accident, she said she needs one of those in her house. She also indicated that she stays on top of her children to pick up after themselves, picked up the small things, because there are younger children who always like to put stuff in their mouths. And she kept indicating, kids will be kids. Y'all, that's something that is so very true. Children are going to be children until they become adults. Okay? They are. Stuff happens. It happens. And for anybody to DM her and to say, you're a bad parent because of this and so, first of all, if you're not living in her household, you can't say that. You can't look at what she chooses to share with us, or any decisions basically that she's made in her life, and say that she's a bad parent. We can't do that unless in fact the video that you're actually looking at is showing her beating on her children, is showing her neglecting her children. And I haven't seen that. I just haven't. And anybody else who says that they've seen that, I'm sorry. I'm just going to say that you are a liar. You're a liar, and you're probably very unhappy. Chrissy also indicated that she felt that she followed all of the precautions, everything that it was that she needed to do. She says that people are continuing to send these screenshots because they're threatening her, disturbing screenshots, indicating that they were going to file complaints with CPS. Y'all, come on now. This is utterly ridiculous. You want to separate a child from his family because the little boy swallowed a penny. I mean, don't get me wrong. Kids don't swallow pennies every day, but they do swallow pennies. I remember I had a friend whose child got a marble stuck up in his nose. So, kids have orifices. A lot of times they want to stick things in them, especially if it's not painful. Kids are curious. They are going to do things that we as adults don't often understand. She makes no excuses, but she does want to indicate that she gets her house cleaned professionally 3 times a week, which equates to every other day. So basically, if she's getting her house cleaned every other day, where did the penny come from? She said her kids could have went in her purse and got gum, or did this or did that. We just don't know. And I think it's unfair to pass judgment on her. I really, really do. You guys hold on. I'm going to go and let the dog out. Okay, guys. So Chrissy continued to say that she makes no excuses whatsoever about what has went on, and that she's not perfect. She's not. And no one is. She will not beat herself up about this and will not mom shame herself at all because she's human. Everybody who has a child has had some sort of accident. And it's pretty unfair to me that we would think that it is okay to mom shame anybody. If somebody is taking care of their children, leave them alone. Because when you, in fact, put in false claims with CPS, you're actually taking away from the child itself. I mean, you guys have seen, probably in real life, some of you have seen on the TV. I know I have seen on the TV where children have actually been taken away by CPS on movies and things like that. And the child is fearful because they don't know the people that they're being placed in the custody of. A lot of times the kids don't eat. I mean, I would never want that for anybody. I would never want that. I mean, it's a different story if the child is getting adopted or something like that, if the child is a child who doesn't have family or something like that. But just to deliberately call CPS on someone because a mom has an accident, that's a little heartless. And then when I seen the title, I thought it was the hospital that did it. And when I listened further, I found out it was one of these old vindictive people on YouTube. I was not surprised. YouTube never, ever, ever, ever surprises me. Not one bit. The people on YouTube are something else. Everybody wants something for nothing. And if they can shut you down, block your financial situation or your financial gain, they'll do it, not even thinking about the children. Because the reality is, this is her income. This is her income. So one thing that I did find really ironic was I could hear her children in the background. And there was one child that really bothered me because the child just kept coughing. And I was like, okay, is she going to stop the video and go see what's going on? But there's a good possibility the child has had the nagging cough for a while, and she had already given the medication or whatever the case may be. I don't know. People are crazy. They really, I say this all the time, especially when I do reaction videos, that people are absolutely crazy. And the real thing is that misery loves company. You're miserable because you want everyone else to be miserable. People need to leave that woman alone. Lastly, she also said that YouTube is on a trend right now and everybody is calling CPS on everybody. That's one reason why, even if I had young, small age children, I would not bring my children in front of a camera to share with none of y'all. I sure would not. Because you tend to see things, or people tend to see things that are not even visible. You just want to see bad in people. So because you want to see bad in people, or to see someone mistreating a child fictitiously, because it's probably in your head, you go and put a false claim. I think that's the most sick thing that anybody could do. But what we have to understand, as Chrissy said at the end of her video, is that not everybody is a bad parent. And don't make people... The very last thing she said in her video was that not everybody is a bad parent. And you that are still parenting, do not allow people to make you feel bad about what you are doing for your family. Everybody has different ways of raising their family, and what might work for one person may not work for the other. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the way this person, family A, chooses to raise their children, which is different from family B, that family B is any better. It's just the way that you choose to do it. I just wish, I'm telling you, I say this all the time, every time I do a video, every time I wake up in the morning, I wish we lived in a perfect world where people would just, number one, shut their mouth and mind their business. But unfortunately, we can't do that. We're too nosy. We're too nosy trying to make the next person miserable. And I don't understand. For the life of me, I don't understand why anybody would waste valuable time in their life trying to make the next person miserable. Why? You're so miserable that you want everybody around you miserable. The only thing that I could say is take your miserable self somewhere and go sit down. The only thing that I can say is take your miserable self somewhere and go sit down, and sit down by yourself. Be miserable by yourself. It's just like that guy. This is kind of getting off the subject. It's just like that guy in California where I live who decided that he wanted to go into the school. And I was listening to the news. And when I was listening to the news, they said that he walked up to two people and just shot them. Point blank, just shot them. And then right after immediately shooting them, he put the gun to his head and shot himself. And he has died. My husband and I were discussing that. Why did you think that it was important for you to take the life of anybody else? If you didn't want to be here, take your own life. But don't include me in your misery. I don't understand folks. Folks are crazy. Let's go ahead and finish with this. I don't have very, very long. People tend to mom shame for everything, as Chrissy did say. And that's so very true. People tend to mom shame. The way you raise your children is not going to be the way that someone else raises their children. And leave folks alone. You can have opinions, but they're yours. But just to say and do things vindictively to hurt people is just not, I'll never understand it. Chrissy gave a little public service announcement and just a pep talk to women to be confident in whatever you're doing for you and yours. The way that you raise your children and the way that she raises her children may not be the way that you find to be appropriate. But she's raising her children. We aren't. And I'm so right there with her. You may not agree, but this is what works for me. I got so many questions in this video. I'm not understanding, because I don't understand why she felt the need to justify herself to these YouTube people. Because guess what? They're still going to find a problem with it anyway. On the other hand, she did indicate that she's gotten positive DMs where people are saying that they went through something similar, and just to keep her head up. She says sometimes it's bad. Sometimes kids are bad. They act up and they go through things, but they get it from their daddy's side. And she started laughing. Well, she also indicated that the positive on her channel always outweighs the negative that people tend to give her. And I'm glad. I'm the type of person, whether I do reaction videos or not, the one thing I don't want is someone unhappy about their life or unhappy about their decisions, because their decisions may not be what I would specifically decide for me and mine. Don't concern yourself with the negative. Whatever happens is going to happen. Whatever will be, will be. Thank you so much. God bless each and every one of you. Remember, only you can make great things happen. God bless you. Bye-bye.